Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on July 20th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 19, the 43, the 47, the 60, and the 68. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 19 was purple, the 43 was orange, the 47 was purple, the 60 was green, and the 68 was red. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 19 and 47 were purple. The 43 was orange. The 60 was green. And the 68 was red. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 2 purple, 1 orange, 1 green, 1 red for 4 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 350 color code drawings I kept track of so far, okay? And out of this 350, a 4 color combination has now come up 119 times, okay? But what I want you to focus on is the 3 color combination, okay? If you do some quick math and divide 189 into 350, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time, okay? And to me, that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card, okay? I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch, okay? So my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left is purple. Okay, so what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 different colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? And that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color, or a good representation of each color, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers, okay? And this is the last 3 drawings of numbers, and the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the 19, the 43, the 47, the 60, 68. The next line down is the 13, the 23, the 32, the 35, the 68, which is already taken, and then the 7, the 9, 26, 44, and 68, which is already taken. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers, and now I'm going to count how many I have. So I have 3, and 3 is 6, 2 is 8, 1 is 9, and 4 is 13. So up here, I'm going to leave this alone at 13. This tells me how many colors I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area here, I'm going to start in with the 4, the 8, the 23, which is already taken, the 46, the 65. Next line down is the 40. 43 is already taken, 45, 50, 61. The next line down is 13, which is taken, to 17, the 24, the 59, and the 62. And the last one is 1, 5, 16, 22, 54. So again, I'm going to make those orange numbers. And I hit that 23 by mistake. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 4, 1 is 5, 2 is 7, 3 is 10, and 3 is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 orange numbers. Okay, so I think you understand how I do things. So what I'm going to do is, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like for July 20th, 2019. You can see that I had 13 red numbers, 17 orange, turned out to be 14 green, 14 blue, and 11 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay, so that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color won't be coming up. Okay, so as you can see, all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 12 times out of 350 drawings. Okay, so it comes up, but it's very rare. Okay, so again, I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm going to say that no green numbers are going to come up. Okay, now the thing about this is that we're all going to look at this differently, so we're all going to come up with a different result. Okay, but the reason why I'm picking this is because a green number has come up in the last 5 drawings. Okay, so I'm just trying to predict what the ebb and flow is going to be, and I just think that no green numbers are going to come up. Okay, so I'm going to block out these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so again, the object is to eliminate groups of numbers. And again, I'm going to start off with this green. Okay, so when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these green numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these green numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Okay, it's the only one with 9 numbers. Okay, where the other 6 have 10 for a total of 69 numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this. Okay, so you can see that the 19, 43, 47, 60, and 68. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the 19, and I'm going to make this a purple square. Okay, and I'm making it purple because the 19 is purple. Okay, the 19 is purple because the color code said it was. Okay, so this is how you update things, and this is what you're looking at. Okay, so what I'm going to do is another thing. I'm going to update this here, and this tells me how many groups was hit. Okay, so the 19's in one group, the 43, 47's in another, the 60, 68 is in another, so it hit 3 groups total. Okay, so I look at this and I try to correctly guess how many groups it's going to hit. Okay, so the 4 and the 3 come up the most. Okay, 5 comes up third most, okay, and once in a blue moon, 2 will come up, like right here, okay? So I never seen a 1, I never seen all 5 white winning Powerball numbers in one group like this, okay? I'm sure it will happen someday, just haven't seen it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. And I'll explain how I use this. So again, you can see that I divided it into 7 different groups, okay? And there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So that means that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate those group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how you read this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings, okay? And the reason why I like to break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons. When I go back into the history of things, it's easier going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings here, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa, okay? So, again, what I'm going to try to do is correctly predict where there won't be any winning Powerball numbers, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the 60 numbers, okay? So I'm starting a new 5, okay? This is current right here, okay? So you can see that a 60 number has come up in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawings, okay? So usually when it hits 5 drawings in a row, usually that group won't come up, you know? The largest one is 8, I believe. So when it gets to that 5 or 6 mark, this is where I predict that it's going to miss. Okay, so again, I'm going to guess that no 60 numbers are going to come up. So I'm going to eliminate those numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. Go back to the game card, where I'm going to take those 60 numbers off. Okay, so the 67's down here, the 65 is over here, the 69, the 68, the 60, and 61, 2, 3, and 4 is right here. So again, I'm going to eliminate those numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'll show you why those 60 numbers were up here. Okay, as I go forward. So I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either even numbers or odd numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so if I could correctly guess that there's going to be more even numbers than odd, that's, I believe, is going to give me an advantage over this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this. So I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to see what it was. So it was 1 odd, 2 odd, 3 odd, and 2 evens. So here, the first thing I'm going to do is make this 396. Actually, it should have been 394, and now it's 395. Okay. So what I'm going to do is there was 3 odds and 2 evens. Okay, so since there was more odds, I'm going to make this 204. Okay, so out of 395 drawings, 204 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 191 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so how you read this is, again, I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority. Okay, so this last 5 drawings, you can see the majority was odd numbers, 3 drawings to 2. Okay, so as I work my way down, I like to go down to this big stretch of odds here and then work my way up. So I got 1 evens, 2 evens, 3, 4, 5. So now it's, what do you think it's going to be? Okay, so from here on up, it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 drawings. You can see how sparse the odds are. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that there's going to be more odd numbers than even numbers. Okay, so I'm going to write that down just to remind myself what I picked. Okay, and now I'm going to move back to this 50-50, and the next one I have is high and low. So all the numbers in blue are considered low. Okay, even the 66, the 67, and the 65. When those numbers come up, I record them as low numbers. Okay, but for here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that there's going to be more high numbers than low. Okay, so you can see in the last 20 drawings here, 30 drawings, that it's been to the low side. So I'm going to say that this next one is going to be to the high. So I'm expecting more numbers up here than down here. Okay, so let me write that in. Okay, so next one is left and right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down again. And, you know, it's just a 50-50 guess. I'm going to say that there's going to be more to the left than right. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, and last one is this red and blue area here. And I'm going to guess that there hasn't been a long run at all for a little while here. So I'm going to say that this goes on another one. And I think there's going to be more to the blue area than the red. Okay. So as I'm looking at this, I think at least 2 numbers will be here in this area here. Okay. So I'm going to write that down, blue. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and divided it into 4 different groups. Okay, I put colors to these groups. So when the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land within these groups down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. And again, the numbers were 19, 43, 47, 60, and 68. Okay, so the 19 shares the square with the 67 right here. So let me explain that for a second. Okay, so you can see over here to the left, there's no numbers. But as I go back to the game card, you can see that I have these numbers off here to the left. Okay, so basically what this is I really wanted this grid right here of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, okay? But that only gives you 64 numbers, and there's 69 numbers in the Powerball, okay? So what I did is I call this sharing the square, okay? Where this 19 will share the square with the 67, okay? So basically, if I get rid of this whole square, okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all these numbers as a group. And that includes the 19 and the 67, okay? So that's how I group up numbers, okay? So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So again, I'm going to update this, and the winning number was 19, which is in the red, 43 in the orange, 47 in the green, 60 in the orange, and 68 in the orange, okay? So down here, there was 1 in that red area, the 19. There is no winning Powerball numbers in that blue area. There is 3 in the orange and 1 in the green. Okay? So when there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. And when there's a miss, I color the background blue for cold. Okay? So this went on a streak of 3, and up here, this tells me how many blue marks I have come up. Okay, so there's 92 of these blue marks in this column here. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where the 0 is going to be. If I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have gotten rid of all these blue numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball Lottery. Okay, so moving on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what group of numbers won't be coming up. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards here, so I'm going to scroll to the right and show you the 15. Okay, they all have the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay. So I'm coming up to the first one I'm going to pick at, okay? And this is option card number 11, okay? I think there's going to be a 0 right here in this red area, okay? So the reason why is, you know, you can see that there's 3 zeros here, okay? There's even 3 here. But as I go down, and I'm just concentrating on this red area over here to the far right, to the far left, I mean, you can see that here's one group of 3, okay? And as I work my way up, there's going to be lots of them over here and the other three, like right here and right here, okay? So basically, there's been a lot more 3 zeros in these 3 areas, and there's only been 2 here, okay? So I'm thinking that it's due to have another one right here, okay? I think the 0 is going to be right here, all right? So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers off of my game card. Okay, the 2, 12, 20, 9, 17, 26, and 27. Get rid of those. And the 39, 56, 45, and the 53 shares the square with the 69 here, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to pick one more. Okay, and that's option card number 13, no orange numbers. Okay, now the reason why I'm picking this is because you can see that here's a single zero, and a lot of times they double up, like right here, or even triple up, like I was talking about before. Here there's 18 of these single zeros here, okay? So I'm hoping that it's going to double up right here. So I think the 0 will be right here. We'll see what happens, okay? But I'm going to eliminate these orange numbers off of my game card. And that's the 5, 7, 14, 16. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of those orange numbers. So hopefully those numbers don't come up, okay? So I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers. Okay, except with this, I know that there's only 5 like winning Powerball numbers. Okay, and there's 8 of these color groups, so I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these color groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this one as well. Okay, so the 19 is right here in the orange. Okay, the 35 is in the orange. I'm sorry, the 19's in the orange, the 43's in the orange, the 47's in the gray, the 60 is in the green, and the 68 is in the blue. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards as well, okay, and they all have the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so again, it's just the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this one. So again, I have 1 in the blue, 2 in the orange, 1 in the green, and 1 in the gray. Okay, so I always like to work things left to right. Okay, so here in the red area, there was no winning Powerball numbers. Here in the blue was that 68. In the orange, there was 2 of them. Okay, the 19 and the 43. 1 in the green, the number 60. No winning Powerball numbers in the purple area. No winning in the brown. The 47 in the gray. And no winning Powerball numbers in the yellow. Okay, so over here I put down how many color groups it hit. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4 color groups. Okay, and what I do is, since the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side, I colored this 4 blue, okay? So if the majority was over here to the right, that 4 would be green, okay? So what I'm going to do is I want to explain why things are red and blue, okay? So again, I like to break things down into 5, okay? So here, well, the reason why is because it shows me the majority. Okay, so here you can see that there was 3 zeros out of 5. So when that happens, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so here the majority is hits, 3 hits out of 5. So again, when that happens, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so we all know the lottery is random, okay? And this is what random looks like, okay? So when I see something like this where it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So this is the reason for the red areas and the blue areas, okay? So here I'm going to make this a blue. Now the reason why it was yellow is because it was right on the verge. I had 2 hits, 2 misses, and now it's red and red. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is count how many marks I have. How many red marks I have. So I got 3 and 3 is 6. So over here, I put that 6 down. Okay. So this is how many columns I had, 78 and now 79. Okay, so moving on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what group of numbers won't be coming up. Okay, and for me, I'm going to be going with this red area. Okay, so again, you can see how hot things have been. Okay, and now I think it's going to be cold again. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to get rid of those red numbers off of my game card. And that's the 1 down to the 57. So I'll get rid of the 1. I'll get rid of the 25 because it shares the square with the 65. And the 33 and 41. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay. So moving on. Now things will get a little bit quicker now that you know what you're looking at. Okay. So what I'm going to do is for this prediction, I'm going to go with no blue numbers. So here's the blue. And as I work my way down, you can see that it's been kind of 50-50, but I think that the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so we'll see what happens, and I'm going to get rid of the blue numbers, and that's the 9 to the 16. Okay, so I'll block those numbers out. Okay, so next, option card 3. I'm going to go with no red numbers. So here's the red. And as I work my way down, you can see how hot things have been. And now I think it's going to have a streak of blue like over here. Okay, so no red numbers. And that's the 4 to the 28, the 37 to the 61. Okay, so it's just a 4 that I'm getting rid of. Okay, now moving on. Option card number 4. I'm going to go with no green. So here's the green. And as I work my way down, you can see how hot things have been. It went on this huge cold streak. And now I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so get rid of these green numbers. And that's the 29 to the 32, the 57 to the 60. Okay, the 58 shares the square with the 68. And I get rid of that 59. So I took out 4 numbers there. Hopefully they don't come up. Okay. So moving on to number 5. I'm going to go with no brown. Okay. So here's the brown area. See, you had a huge streak here. So I'm hoping that the 0 will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers. I'll take off the 22 and the 8 shares the square with the 66. So I'll take that out as well. Okay, so moving on. The next one is option card number 6. I'm going to go with no yellow numbers. Okay, so here's the yellow. So it's been pretty hot through here. Okay, so I'm hoping the 0 will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of this yellow. That's the 2, 9, 18, 65 all the way down. I'll get rid of that 50. At least it's one more number. Okay. Hopefully it won't be coming up. Okay, so next one is option card 7. I'm going to go with no orange. Okay, so here's the orange. And as I work my way down through, you can see how hot things have been. And now I kind of think it's going to go on a cold streak here. So I'm going to get rid of the orange to 41, 34, 43 all the way across. So hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? So moving on to number 8. I'm going to go with no green again, okay? So here's the green. So it's a little cold streak right here, so I'm hoping that the 0 will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 8, 13, 24, 29 all the way down. So hopefully that 24 doesn't come up. Okay, the number 9. I'm going to go with no purple. So here's the purple. You see it's about 50-50, okay, but I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here, okay? Now I'm going to get rid of these purple numbers, the 11, 18, 5, 32. And there's nothing to get rid of, okay? So here's the thing. You know, right now, things are, on average, all of these games have come out to like 3.8 or 4.2 for all 15 of these option cards, okay? So what that means is on average, 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it, okay? So I already made my guess here at option card 9, no purple numbers. There's nothing to get rid of. But I'm not going to come back to this and pick another one here, okay? Because my odds of getting it right go way, way up, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 chance again, okay? So here, option card number 10, I'm going to go with no red. Okay, this kind of has a history of missing here, so hopefully it's going to keep on missing, okay? And again, I'm going to take off these red marks here, and that's the 112, that pattern in all 4 squares. So I'll get rid of the 44. Okay, and that brings me down to 4 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go with the 19, the 35, the 51, the 52, and the 54. Okay, so let me just highlight these. Okay, so again, I'm going to go with the 19, 35, 51, 52, 54. Okay, so I thought there was going to be more odd numbers. You can see 19, 35, 51. We'll make that happen. More to the high side. Okay, we'll make that happen. The left, the 19, 35, 51, 52 are all to the left, and that blue area would be right here. So we'll see what happens. Okay. I want to go back to the individual numbers here. I want you to look at the 50s. Okay, you can see that things are going to be pretty sparse. There was 1 hit in the last 5 drawings. Okay, 2 here, 2 here. Okay, it's been a while since the 50s had a lot of action to it. Okay, so I'm expecting at some point the 50 numbers to start coming up again. Okay, so I kind of like that it turned out to be 350 numbers here. Okay, so I'd just like to go over something that a quote from Sherlock Holmes. Okay, you know how he always says it's a matter of deduction. Okay, so if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then the highlighted numbers have to. Okay, so that's how I look at this. Okay. So, you know, what are the odds that I made all the correct picks, though? So, when I go to the odds, okay, the grand prize, getting all 5 white balls and red ball correct, is 1 in 292 million, okay? My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, and what I mean by that is that the game is kind of geared up towards the white balls, okay? But getting all 5 of those correct are 1 in 11,688, okay? A nice prize would be 4 white balls and a red ball. That pays $50,000 plus the power play if you play it. And that's just about 1 in a million odds of doing that, okay? So getting 4 white balls correct pays $100. 3 white balls, $7. If you get the red ball, then that's $4 plus the power play. Okay. So you can see how the odds are just really, really high. Okay. So I just want to say that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 a year on the lottery. Okay. So in closing, I just want to thank you for watching. Okay. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/decoding the Powerball. Okay. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.